Zillow is the worst wholesaler in the country. Zillow just announced that they're going to end their direct-to-seller home buying business because of quarterly losses that recently happened. What happened to Zillow? I thought Zillow was this big threat to other wholesalers of stealing our business and disrupting the industry, but now they're gone. What's up, YouTube? It's Matthew here. Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how Zillow messed up their home buying business and what we can learn as wholesalers from their recent mistake. So if you all find value from this video, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below. Also, follow me on Instagram at BizMatthew. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about what makes Zillow a wholesaler. Also, I'm going to talk about why they do suck as a wholesaler and what that means for us wholesalers in this industry. So number one, what happened to Zillow and exactly how is Zillow a wholesaler? So I'm just going to read this quote from an article I just read. It's from a realtor in Colorado. This realtor says that what they do is they kind of sidestep the real estate broker in the transaction and they make a deal directly with the seller, sort of like us wholesalers. Sometimes they rehab them, sometimes they don't, but by and large, they are a wholesale home purchaser. So basically in this article from a realtor, he's saying that Zillow was basically wholesaling, and that's what we do. Most of the time we don't work with realtors or agents, and we go directly to our consumer, the motivated seller, in order to put a property under contract. But of course, Zillow, they weren't assigning deals, they were more doing like hotel deals. So they would just take down these properties. They may do a light rehab, like this quote was saying, like cleaning up a little bit, maybe put some paint on it. They probably had contractors working for them, but it wasn't anything too serious, right? It was essentially what we do. We buy properties at a discount and we try to sell it for higher. But the thing that made Zillow mess up was didn't comp their properties right. They should have watched my videos on this channel and subscribed on how to run comps on your properties, right? Because they were buying properties for full market value and a little bit higher. When they went to try to sell the property, it didn't sell. You wonder why? Because you bought it too high and plus you invested money into it. And even if you sell it for a slightly higher price, you're probably not making much because of the closing fees you incur, the different light rehab that you did on the property. They ended up not making money. And so from here on out, Zillow has paused their home buying service business. So that's kind of how I see Zillow as a big wholesaler. Now, let's talk more about the different mistakes they did. So I just talked about how they would buy the properties, they wouldn't comp the properties correctly, and they would put money into it. And since they're closing on the property, not assigning on the properties, they're incurring closing costs, and that does drive up your expenses. Another thing they probably did not do correctly was hire the right people, right? Hire the right people to analyze deals, hire the right contractors. Maybe contractors were salaried, maybe they were just getting a contract pay, I don't know. And they were people who didn't really care about the resale value, they were just in to collect a check. I think if there was more of an incentive for the employees to make money, if the property made money, maybe that would have been a better model for them. One thing I do have to agree and give shout out to Zillow was that they said in this article that Zillow says the company is still closing on homes they have that are under contract. So they are still fulfilling their contractual agreement with sellers of closing their property. Because I think as wholesalers, especially in the beginning, you may back out of a deal because you're all like, dang, I didn't get the numbers right and different things like that. But here's, according to this article, Zillow is just fulfilling on those promises. And so I have to, shout out them for that, because a lot of wholesalers in their situation would just back out of the deals, which is not good. Another mistake that Zillow made that I think affects the wholesaling industry is that they would buy these properties at market value when they weren't worth market value because the properties needed work or they weren't in the right area. And sometimes they would even bid higher than the asking price or pay more than the actual value of the property. And what that did for us wholesalers, a lot of times when we would come to a motivated seller, they would say, yo, Zillow says my house is worth this or that. Yeah, because Zillow's buying a bunch of properties in that neighborhood, driving up their medium home price. Your property is actually actually not worth that much. And so it made it a little bit more difficult getting a deeper discount than what we had before. The other thing I want to touch on is like, this was a big issue when Zillow started buying properties directly to sellers. You know, you've probably seen a bunch of YouTube videos or heard other wholesaling gurus talk about how this may change the industry, right? You had to pull out, you know, the big guns. But honestly, like last year when they started, I did my best year in wholesaling. It was still possible for you to get deals even with a large retail buyer like Zillow. Another thing about Zillow is that they're not buying properties anymore, but the property values are essentially the same, right? It is not like they can reverse what they just bought. Like, people still think their properties are worth however much Zillow is telling their properties are worth. That's just something to consider, and you just have to communicate some way, somehow to sellers how, you know, Zillow's not always accurate. Now, to end off, I want to talk about what this means for the wholesaling real estate industry. So in this article, it also said a pitch has been made to investors to acquire the thousands of available homes the company still owns, right? And we are investors, we are wholesalers. If you have the capital, if you have the equity, if you have the hard money loans, or if you have private money, you can go in and swoop in and buy these properties that Zillow owns for a discount. But most likely they may just sell it to hedge funds, and the hedge funds are going to get it at a steep discount. Why not sell it to us individual investors, right? Maybe there may be a possibility that they will sell to individual investors. The other impact this has on the wholesaling industry is that home prices might go lower, because now that they are selling these properties at a lower price, that changes the algorithm, that changes the comps for the neighborhood, the city. And so if they're selling them back to what it's actually worth, yeah, that's great. But let's say hedge funds buy these properties and they buy them like, I don't know, like 40 cents to the dollar. That really drives down the price of these properties. But us as wholesalers, we can work in any market. So that would be good. So we can get these properties at a lower price, and we can say, yeah, look at Zillow, look at what this property sold for. I think if the prices go lower, that would be good, because I think it puts the market becomes more stabilized when we're actually selling at the prices the homes are actually worth. All right, everyone, I hope you all enjoyed this video on Zillow. I know Zillow at first started as a big threat, and they started buying properties, they started driving up home prices, and then eventually they couldn't continue that because it wasn't profitable for them. And so now they have to sell these houses. So Zillow, what do you all think Zillow as a wholesaler, right? Were they good? Did they at least try? Are they going to try it again later? Because, you know, they can actually revamp this whole system, this whole program of their business, and make it extremely well if they comp their properties right, you know, hire the right people to do that, or watch a Biz Matthew videos on how to comp properties, or use property down below. Use my link, Zillow. But yeah, so let me know what you all think of it, everything, and what do you think the industry will look like now that Zillow's not buying homes anymore. All right, I'd love to hear from you all in the comments down below. I hope you all have a great day. Make sure to like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram at BizMatthew. All right, talk to you all later. Peace.